This video is the second episode from the previous video where we talked about how love is profoundly seeing. I see you. And then I thought about acceptance, and obviously if you can see someone fully and completely, you definitely would accept them fully and completely. Like, you don't have to see someone fully, completely, you just need to see them deeply, and then you would be able to accept them fully. If there's anything you do not accept about someone, it would be where the lack of understanding is. But then it also puzzles me now that what is unconditional acceptance? Like, you're a total stranger, but we just met, let's say, and I don't know anything about you, but I accept you fully and completely. Whatever you say, I accept it as it is. There's no judgments I'll ever have about anything that you say and do. There's no judgments about anything about you. That is what acceptance is. And I wondered if this is love. Like, can unconditional acceptance be the whole of love? Like, does understanding have to be there? Because I said love is profound understanding. But then I suddenly felt, I'm trying to think of an example where I can feel completely accepted exactly as what I am, but I'm not understood. I don't feel understood. Just imagine if my grandma loved me unconditionally. Accept me unconditional. Accept me unconditionally. She would not understand all the philosophy that I have, because she never went to school. But she would accept me exactly for what I am. Of course, when I'm with her, I cannot talk about philosophy or, my core values and spirituality, because she wouldn't understand. Not at all. Or at least not, deep enough. Maybe she can understand some things, but not most of it. Oh, I think I would still be able to feel her loving me. But do I feel seeing deeply by her? In fact, I'm gonna say yes, because I think unconditional acceptance would be followed by deep understanding. Like, if you can't understand someone, you just accept them, and then you will begin to understand them. It doesn't always have to begin with understanding. It can also begin with acceptance. And of course, it sounds like it's a lot easier to begin with acceptance when you meet someone new, because you wouldn't understand anything of them, but you can already accept them because you can accept anyone. I said, love is deep understanding. I still think that's true, because if you feel, I don't know, like, can you feel not seen by someone who accepts you unconditionally? In the beginning, I was trying to argue with that, because it felt like, okay, you can accept me, you can be in this room, and you accept me exactly as who I am. But you don't understand me. I don't feel seen. But is it possible that if someone accepts me fully and completely, I still don't feel seen? I guess I would need some experience to help me with that. If I can find someone that accepts me fully and completely, and I will see how I feel about it. Does it still feel like I'm not seeing? Like, imagine there's a person that cannot understand your language at all, but they accept you fully and completely. But you wouldn't even know it if they don't speak your language. But I guess you can feel it. You can feel this feeling. If someone, they don't have to speak, you would be able to feel if they accept you fully and completely. If there's anything they don't accept about you, you would be able to feel it somehow. You would be able to feel it if it's something significant at all. That you would be able to feel it at all. Okay, just imagine this person that doesn't speak at all, doesn't speak your language, and they're in the room, and you can feel that they just accept you. In fact, I just feel that if they accept me, they are understanding me. Yes, because they are seeing me as, I don't know what, but I feel seen by someone that accepts me. So maybe you could also say that love is unconditional acceptance or deep understanding, because they are really wanting the same thing. Now, I would love to have some experience to back it up. If I could find some people, more than one person, and then they accept me completely, but they don't, like what? Like, I feel acceptance, and that only, and see if I can feel deeply seen. Or we can do this actually as an experiment. You find some people, and then you do this experiment together. You just, in this practice, in this experiment, you just have this intention to accept everything about a person, about this person standing in front of you. Just accept them, everything. Just stand in that unconditional accepting place, standing there when you look at them and let them tell you how they feel, and you do this, they do the same to you, and you change a couple of people and see if it's the exact same thing you feel every time. Do you feel deeply seen through just unconditional acceptance? I'm really curious because I want to find out. The question then is deep understanding unconditional acceptance and vice versa, are they one and the same thing? That is love? I'm really, I need to find out. Help me, universe. Help me find out about it. Give another example. Let's say again, my grandma. A grandma loves the grandchild. The grandchild wants to study philosophy. Grandma doesn't understand, but grandma accepts and supports the child completely, pays for the tuition fee, accept them completely, want them to be safe on the travel, let them go, lets them go, and a thing about acceptance is when you accept someone, even the part that you don't seem to understand. Like the grandma would ask the child, how's your study when they come back to visit? Even if the grandma doesn't understand anything about philosophy. What the child feels is like everything about them is totally accepted, including all of their philosophical ideas. No matter grandma could understand or not, the child absolutely knows that grandma accepts everything about them. Another perfect example would be a grandma is a philosopher, and grandchild has some very, like, some core values that grandma, like some values that grandma doesn't understand, doesn't agree with. Okay, they come together, they discuss about something, but grandma doesn't agree with some things that grandchild says. But grandma absolutely accepts that the grandchild can have that view, even if grandma doesn't understand, doesn't agree. But then now here is what is just feeling off, you know. The grandchild would definitely feel unseen there with that point of view, specific point of view, feels that grandma isn't seeing me. I believe this and this and that. Grandma accepts that I have this belief, but grandma doesn't agree. Now, let's just escalate this example. Let's say there's a murderer in the room, and I unconditionally accept everything about the murderer, but the murderer believes that, I don't know if it's a good example. that people are bad. That's why they murder at all. They would murder at all. They just tell me, this world sucks and people are bad. I certainly, I wouldn't agree with it. I still accept this person exactly as who they are. I accept you and everything you say. You can say them. I don't feel the need to change you. I accept you exactly as who you are. I do not judge you. That's the core. Not that you don't need to change, you don't want to change it, but you don't judge them at all. You don't judge them. They have that belief. You don't judge them. I accept you completely. I hold this place. They tell me that the world is an ugly place, or people are all ugly. And here is the difference I can feel. If I hold the disagreement, because from my perspective, the world isn't ugly, the world isn't this, and that. I disagree. But if I just hold it in my mind. I listen to what they say, and then I feel I don't have to say it out loud. They don't know if I agree or disagree, but I feel in my mind that I disagree. And here is the point that they definitely feel unseen. Here is where there's also lack of understanding. What is it that I'm accepting? I accept that they can have this feel, but I accept you unconditionally. Is there something missing here? Can I accept something that I accept that you have this point of view, but I definitely disagree. But I just obviously feel that there's a lack of love here that can be resolved through understanding. I look at you and I know why you feel that way. It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree, but I see you, that why you have that view. I look at you, I see why you have that view. That is deep understanding. And through that, only through this, can this person really feel loved in this specific situation. So yeah, disagreement. Agreement or disagreement, they are totally irrelevant in love. They are not relevant. You agree or don't agree, it really doesn't matter. I don't have to agree. I don't have to disagree. There is just no space for agreement or disagreement in love and acceptance. It's not about agreement or disagreement. So just imagine someone that believes, they say, I want to hurt. Let's just escalate this further. A murderer in the room, and they tell me they want to hurt me. Of course, I don't want to be hurt, so I wouldn't want to agree, but it really doesn't matter. I accept this murderer exactly as who they are, but they say, at the same time they say, I want to hurt you. How this murderer would feel love in this situation is that I see them. I see It's not, again, an intellectual understanding, but I just feel this understanding why you would feel that way. Even if it's not intellectual, I can't tell you why they want to hurt me, but I can understand it. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Just imagine that. I think you can imagine it just as well. They want to hurt me, but I come from a place, again, of understanding. But I guess I don't know. What I'm trying to explore here is the relationship between deep understanding and acceptance, unconditional acceptance in love. Are they one and the same thing? Oh, I think it is, because if I disagree with someone, I am not accepting this part of them. What I accept is only the fact that they have this view, but I'm not accepting this view. Like, it doesn't mean I have to agree with something to accept it. Or, I don't know, like I said, agreement or disagreement really are irrelevant here. So how someone can feel loved if the other person if I disagree with something that they just said, is I see them. I see them. I see why. I see the necessity in them that they definitely have to hold this perspective. And I totally accept it. And that's when agreement or disagreement are completely irrelevant. Like, you can no longer ask me, do I agree with this then? Do I disagree? I can see why it's not an intellectual reasoning why, but just the necessity that they need to hold that view. And I honor that. I see that. But what about unconditional acceptance in this situation? How they say something I don't agree with, I accept. I accept that this idea, perspective they hold, is valid for them. Is true from their perspective. I accept that this is true for you. And if this is true for me or not, it doesn't matter in this situation. This is all about you. I love you is all about you. About me seeing you and accepting you unconditionally. So what I think, what I agree, disagree, doesn't matter. It's same for them. If they love me, it's all about me. It's the same. No one's left out. Okay. So now I think we can have the conclusion. Yeah, I can feel it even in the example of a murderer that wants to hurt me. They want to hurt me. And this, I accept that this is true for them. This is your truth right now. And I accept that unconditionally. And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't do anything to stop me from being hurt. Or it really depends on the situation, you know. As if you want to consider like actions and this and that and what to do, that would have to depend on the actual situation. Here we just have an abstracted example. So I think I can draw the conclusion now. Unconditional acceptance is definitely deep understanding. Deep understanding, of course, is unconditional acceptance. And it has nothing to do with agreement or disagreement. Absolutely nothing. And I think I've explained it crystal clearly. Thank you for watching this video. I hope if you had this question in your mind, I could have answered it for you somehow.